Hey guys, my name is Rachel Fall. I'm an independent prover with a company called Prove It, and I'm also the creator of Keto with Rachel. So a month ago today, I had decided to do a 10-day experience of my own and try out ketones because I had been researching them for months. And I knew all the health benefits that I could receive from them, but I wanted to make sure that I could actually feel a difference whenever I started drinking them. So I got a 10-day experience. I started it on May 18th. And it is now June 18th, so it is my 1 month anniversary. So before I started taking ketones, I was in a very dark place in my life, a very rough patch that I was going through that I seemed like I couldn't get out of it. I was at a point in my life where I had literally just lost who I was, and I had been doing a lot of work over the past year to get my own identity back. I was at a place where I was super tired. I was tired all the time. I would come home from work and we would take naps for 3-4 hours and think nothing of it. And then even the next day I would be still snoozing through all of my alarms and having 15 minutes to get ready for work, and I'd be rushing out the door. That was just becoming my new norm. And I was not only just physically tired, but I was like mentally exhausted. I was just so drained. I was having a really hard time focusing, especially at work, around my friends, my family, just a hard time being present because I just wasn't there. You know, when you don't feel good, like, it's very hard to pretend like you do when you haven't for such a long time. I just got to a point where I had to be honest with myself, and how I was telling myself I felt for all this time, for what I was doing, it just wasn't my reality. It was just what I was telling myself how I felt. And then when I looked at the bigger picture, I was like, this just isn't it for me. And it was very hard for me to accept that. But I was at a place where I started getting cookies, and I would binge eat the packages of cookies, the whole package of cookies, and I would immediately hide the packages in the bottom of the trash can, or I would take the trash out so that no one could see what I was doing because I was so ashamed of myself for doing it. But I mentally just like couldn't handle it. Like, I didn't know what to do with my stress, and I was taking my stress out on food and using it as a comfort. And that's something that I've never done before. I have irritable bowel syndrome, and I have dealt with that for almost 10 years. I was constantly bloated every time I ate. No matter what I ate, I would look like I was 3 months pregnant. I recently, before I started ketones, weighed in at my heaviest that I've ever been. And that was very, very, very hard to look on the scale and realize that my body was the body that was standing on top of that. I recently, months ago, had been diagnosed with anxiety. It's something that I thought that I've always had, but I never had like a label for it. I just felt like a failure. And even though it's something that a lot of people deal with, it's very hard to accept. I'm someone who is very like OCD about things. I'm a perfectionist, and I don't care what people think of me, like as my appearance and stuff. I'm not into makeup or anything, like that stuff doesn't bother me, but I care that people know that I'm a good person, and I'm a strong person, and I'm a healthy person, and I don't ever want someone to see like the defeated, weak side of me. And that's kind of how that made me feel. After I was able to kind of accept that that's just what it was, you know, that happens to people, I started going back through my life, and I started piecing things together, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, this makes so much sense. Like, I was super, super shy as a kid. Like, I would do nothing without my mother standing next to me. I would not talk to anybody. I would not look at anybody. Eye contact was like the easiest way to make me feel uncomfortable. I'm still not super comfortable with eye contact, but I'm much better than I was. I was extremely socially anxious. Something, again, I didn't realize that I had. I just thought it was who I was, you know? And I was like the kid in school where, like, if something was to be thrown away. Like if I had like a crinkled up piece of paper and I had to throw it away, I would wait till like the end of class when everybody got up to leave to throw it away. Like I would not get up in the middle of class to throw that paper away because God forbid everyone, you know, stare at me. Like that's just how I was. So one of the biggest problems I've had throughout my entire life is that I have developed this habit of like, I guess, creating this very shielded cloud around me. So I choose to be very closed off with people. I choose to be alone a lot. I choose to not go out in public settings very often. I try to avoid them whenever possible. Like if I go to the grocery store, I would go to the grocery store at a time when I knew the least amount of people would be there, or else I would make sure Devin was with me. It's not something I would want to do alone. But that's just how it was. Social situations make me very uncomfortable, so I just kind of developed this, I guess, just kind of state of like calling myself a grandma, because, you know, when you think of a grandma, they don't really go out, they just kind of hang out at home, they don't do much, and that's kind of how I shielded myself for years, because I used it as a protective factor, because I didn't want to go out and feel that way, or God forbid someone see or witness that I felt that way. One of the biggest things in my life that has held me back for as long as I've been alive is the fact that no matter what I do, sometimes my face will get red. It doesn't matter if I'm even embarrassed or not. It doesn't matter if I'm sitting in a room by myself and no one's even around. It doesn't matter if I'm talking to my mom or talking to a patient or anybody. It would just randomly always turn red, and that's the biggest reason why I shielded myself for the longest time. And I always told myself that if I could just figure out a way to prevent that from happening, I would be a totally different person. I knew I would be, because that was holding me back. I made that have so much power that I just isolated myself from the world because of it. Because I was so afraid of what someone else was going to say. I knew it was going to happen. The people that know me, the people that love me, knew it was going to happen. But the people that don't know me, I was so afraid of their judgment. And that's all I could think about. So I just would avoid the situation. And I was just sitting here last night and I was just like laying in bed crying, because I was thinking about how much my life has changed because of ketones. And I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy, and I know, like, you're probably like, okay, this girl's crazy, she's whacked out on ketones, whatever. I don't care if you feel that way. I really don't care. What I care is that I feel the way I feel now. And out of everything that ketones have done for me, the biggest thing that I am 1,000,000% grateful for is the fact that my face finally doesn't turn red all the time. I would be like in the grocery store, checking out at Wegmans, even for the stupidest reasons. Like I said, it doesn't even have to matter what the reason's for. I'd be checking out at Wegmans and there's like a chip reader or Alllll slide, and I would sit there and I would stare at it for like 30 seconds like, oh crap, you know, is it the chip reader or do I slide? And I'd be like, I got a 50-50 chance, which one do I pick? And every single time, no matter if it was the right decision or not, my face would instantly turn red. And I would just like shut down from there, because I just felt so like uncomfortable. Even if I wasn't embarrassed at the time, like that happening just made me so uncomfortable, and it made it happen anyways. Devin and I were going out to get groceries last week, I think it was, and I was checking out at Wegmans and it didn't happen, and I was just like, wait a minute, like that really didn't happen. We were at Eaton Park yesterday, and my mom, or Devin and I had just had our ketones, and my mom was putting some chocolate ketones in her iced coffee. and she was just talking about how much she loved it. It tasted so good, and our waitress came over, and my mom was like, oh my gosh, this is so good with ketones, like you have to put ketones in it, it's so good. And the waitress was just like asking about it, and my mom was just like talking to her, and she's like, yeah, my daughter sells it. Normally if someone would have like pointed me out or something like that, my face would have instantly turned red and I would have shut right down. But I was so excited, like nothing happened. Nothing happened. And I can't even tell you, like, in one word, if I had to summarize how I feel about ketones and how they've changed my life, it makes me feel free. I mean, it's so much more than how well I sleep and how my life doesn't revolve around cookies or sugar. I don't even crave sweets anymore. It's so much more than not feeling anxious. It's so much more than not having to bite the skin around my nails. My nails right now are so long and I refuse to cut them because I've never been able to have them this long. I'm just so grateful. And I know that a lot of people will look at ketones for just the fact that they burn fat. And that's great. You know, I'm totally okay with burning fat. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to be mad about that. But to me, these effects that I'm feeling are a million times more important than the 10 pounds that I've lost and the 8 inches that I've lost in the last month, 31 days. It's so much more than the 1 point in BMI that I've gone down or the 2% body fat that I've lost. Like, that's all great and I feel so much better, but the inner confidence that this is giving me is priceless. I finally feel like I'm able to be the person that I've been wanting to be for my entire life. Like, my personality is wants to be very adventurous. I want to travel the world. I want to be able to go out and do things. I want to do all those things. But I just have this little shield around me telling me, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, because you know what, God forbid someone sees you, God forbid someone judges you. And I just learned to not give a shit. That's fine, you can think I'm crazy. But I know how I feel, I know what this has done for me. I read through people's text messages to me every single day, telling me how they feel. I've had every single person who has anxiety that has tried this has told me that they no longer need their anxiety medications. I have not had an IBS flare-up since I started taking this. I made a post a couple weeks ago about Aunt Flo coming to visit. Ever since I've had IBS and Aunt Flo comes to visit, every single time, the day before and the day of, my IBS would flare up. Guess what? For the first time in my life, that did not happen. I'm waiting for it, and I was waiting for it, and I was waiting for it, and it didn't happen. I want to be the person that I want to be, and this is something that's finally helping me become that person. So, for that, I'm grateful. I am so blessed. I'm so thankful that I found this. I stumbled across that one girl's video, and that I asked her about it, because she's exactly what I needed in my life, and ketones are saving my life. So that's my 1 month update. I have my ketones right here. I'm in the middle of drinking it, but I had to make this video first, so I'll check in with you guys. My name is Rachel Fall. If you want to find me online, go to facebook.com /keto with Rachel. So go find me there, send me a message. You can email me at ketowithrachel@yahoo.com. Either way, I'll put the links below. Thanks, guys.